Hi everybody, Mature Simmer here. So welcome to the inaugural 2K25 TGC Tours playlist episode. Gotten to the point now where I think we're getting close enough that TGC Tours is likely to start firing up. If not, it's at least got enough going on that I'm going to segment it away from the content of the career mode, which is where a little bit had been going on and some discussion certainly had been happening. Now, discussion will probably still cross over between the two because just information will be coming and things will affect career mode and so forth. If nothing else, at this point, like there are career episodes that are out there that were scheduled to go that now are going to get pushed out per the normal process, where basically those episodes are used to fill in the gaps between what happens with TGC Tours. But you can see we're here March 4th to March 8th at the Challenge Circuit, which is what CC is, Master Test Event number 1. So we have gone through, I think, about 6 pro test events, and I was hopeful that we were going to stay on pro difficulty, but it doesn't look like that's the case. They had kind of signaled that on the Discord earlier in the last week or two, obviously, since the game was even on early release. I've been playing a few things on Master, so, I at least have familiarity with it. But it is going to be a challenge. So I do not think anything has changed, but you can see the test events. And again, I think I started on Pro Test Event 4, because I don't know that I was aware that the others were there until later on, and they were obviously over at that point. Don't know if they're going to have more than one test event, or if then we're going to go into whatever they're going to do to figure out how we get going on the actual season and then into the real events. But this is kind of typical, where they'll have an event, and as we get closer to the end, they'll toss another one in based on what they've seen, learned, and so forth. You're along for the ride as much as I am. At this point, I've got my character up to 96 overall. I did just add 5 or 6 points in the attributes, but it didn't up me up to 97 yet. Challenge definitely is just getting far enough along that we can get ourselves all the way up, but I don't know that we're going to get substantially better. I think we're going to have like 20 more points to distribute, but there's probably only 6 or 7 points that can go in any given area, and on a scale of 0 to 100, obviously 6 or 7 points is a minuscule change. So what the character has is kind of where they're dialed in on at this point. Okay, so the other thing that has happened is it appears that we're locked until we get into Season 2 to evolve our clubs beyond the Sapphire level. That's kind of unfortunate, honestly, but we're all going to be in the same boat, so I suppose that's fair. So the levels that they've allowed to Sapphire are +4. So you can see I've increased my power by 12. So my base power is 67. I've now gotten it up to 79. I would have probably gone further, except I didn't have any more power fittings. And then I've increased swing path and contact by 1 each, which is, again, 4 points. And so, other than shaping, recovery, rhythm, transition, those things are a little bit lower. But I think these are the key items, especially power, which will help with drives off the tee and getting closer, and then obviously making the approach shots shorter. I have my irons up to Sapphire, so I just updated that, but I've got to earn the additional slots at this point to go ahead and apply those. So at this point, I'm pretty much be able to improve the irons a little bit. It's definitely a debate of whether I, want to consume fittings or not, but I think it makes sense because otherwise I'm just always going to be slightly worse off than I can be. So we're going to go into round 1 of this master test event. Okay, so we're here at Sterling Creek. There are, it appears, 45 2K official courses, so I did go in and look at that the other day just to see. So you can see we've got red and white tees, basically 400 yards difference between them. Fairways are firm, greens are normal, and green speed is a 6.5. So we're on the red tees, first pin. Wind speed is low, everything else is set at the defaults that we just looked at. And there again you can see I'm at 96 overall. We have, it's about 175, I think, monies to apply every attribute point. As I continue to play, I will continue to move it up, so I would expect we're probably shortly going to hit 97, but other than getting us an achievement if we can get to 99, which I think I'll be able to do, but I'm likely going to need probably the full 100 points on the level of the character, but other than that, I don't think we're going to get anything specific because, as I said, I think we're at about level 78, 79 on the player, an attribute point per level, so I've got another 21 or 2 that I'm going to earn. Alright, here we are. I don't know, honestly. I kind of see the course and say, I think I did play this one. Yeah, this is the one with that little meandering creek everywhere. The way things are set right now, you can see the power meter, swing meter. I can see it when I'm looking at the hole, but it goes away here. People have commented on it that it's less than helpful because they can't see it, but you can see it, you can kind of remember what you need to do. And really off the tee and everything else, it's very similar. I'm just kind of trying to see, yeah, definitely the white portions here. These are the contact and the swing accuracy, I think. So they're larger, so that helps. And then the forgiveness zones are those other areas where things hopefully don't move too much. I played 2 or 3 other rounds today already. As I continue to do the other activities, play in other societies just to earn and level up and earn XP. So I'm not coming in cold, so with that I'm not going to do any practice shots, and we'll see how we can do here. It's not terrible, but a little close, so we're going to pull to the left, end up in the bunker. Alright. My guess is I'm not going to be able to drive this. Yeah, definitely not. But we can go, say, here and get a little bit closer. Not sure if I hit the lip of the bunker. I may have. Kind of went at a weird angle there. Alright, so 139, 12 feet up. I'm actually going to leave it without any adjustment. I can't really see the grid here. You know what? I might go up because we are only going 88%. So this is going to take me down a little over 15. So it's going to take me to 153. Yeah, this might just barely get me there. This might still be a little bit short. Alright, not bad. Kind of offsetting the closed and the push. We are on the green. Coming back a bit. 145 yards, it looks like. I usually can earn that 20 VC to do things without hitting the stroke limit on a hole. It's happened once or twice. Reading the green, still a bit of a challenge, but I think I'm better at it. here than I am in 2K23, as I end up way wide. Kind of disprove my own statement there, but usually I'm closer than that. These are the challenges where you're a little bit away. There we go. But we start with a bogey. And the good news is we're not, we're not competing per se just yet. 23 is going to be 7 yards, so we're going to be a little short. Plus, I tend to not always get the full power. Rhythm means I'm in good shape, because a bad rhythm will decrease your power, which makes sense if you think about it. Like if you're swinging kind of in a jerky way. I've talked about this early on in my videos when I was testing. Alright, let's see. So that's a little bit more reasonable, but a lot of times I'll get really, really close. It's just a bit of a challenge. Oh, come on. Kind of like that. Yeah, it just doesn't move as much as one would think sometimes. Although uphill it might move a bit more. That's obviously normal because it's going downhill, but we've hit another bogey. So this is the challenge with Master. It's obviously much more difficult. I'm trying to remember what my tee box was. I suppose I can go back and look at my older videos. But that 287 is a nice number, so I should be hitting 300, I would think, in most drives. I could feel I was off a bit. Ended up in oh boy, a really bad spot. Yeah, we're actually, you can see the swing bias goes off to the right, which is pretty rare. So again, 175, 186. Let's see, we're going to go down at least 25. That's going to put me at 159. Wow. All right. This might be too much, but let's see. I think I'm going to hit the lip. It won't matter. Yep. Love it. All right. So we're just going to stick with this and get out of here, because that gives us a much higher angle. But, you know, now we're fighting things. So the wind will blow us back. Got a little bit of movement there. All right, not bad. A little bit of a push. We're on the green. And now crazy putting downhill. So I want to be careful. Too far over the other way now. I do like the roll better if you haven't really watched any of the other stuff, and you're just, hey, I see TGC Tours is back, and you're just jumping back in. The swing mechanic, all of it, I really do appreciate it, and I enjoy it quite a bit more than I did in 2K23. I do think it's just a better game to play. Oh. Alright, good news is I'm coming back a bit. But yeah, wow, that was not good. Alright, this is always tricky, because you get a good rollout. I do have several swing types unlocked. I did play with attribute points quite a bit as well. I'm not sure this is going to move a lot, so let me go back here. Come on, don't you dare. Alright. I'm like, it may still skim by the edge. So it does miss the cup a lot more often, very close. And again, you know, you've just got that bottom. When you think about a golf ball rolling on the surface, it's obviously got a very small contact point. So, you know, I certainly understand how it works, but it is frustrating because it looks like it should go in and fall in, and it just doesn't. Alright, so rhythm perfect, swing path perfect, but a little bit off. And that's what it does for you on Master. Alright, so again, we go down from 86 to 87, down to 60 to 70, so this will basically get me 180, and here I'm down to 175, so there's no point in taking, again, the shorter, straighter angle and then risking hitting the lip of the bunker. Because I'm basically going to get similar distance. As you can see, the rhythm's off. I lost negative 7.65% of power. Again, not uncommon. We're down 10 feet. This may not be far enough. It's definitely not going to be far enough because we're wasting distance doing that. Oh, and now we're way, way down. These are awful. I'm going to do a full swing, and I barely made it up anyway. Alright, so now I can do this tie spinner, which is a clubhouse pass. I can do a choked approach. That's a different option, but yeah, the chip is my only choice, really, that makes some sense here. Oh, I changed my chip attributes. That is much different than what I'm used to, so I'm gonna have to adjust what I do with my chips. They usually barely hit, unless I just got totally lucky. Alright. Close, but no cigar. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, my goal is to play well, but I always like to set myself some goals. You know, I'd like to say staying under double digits over again would be a great goal here. It's just really hard to achieve for me on the difficulty level we're at with some of these courses. Alright, again, kind of flattening out 280, but we were way uphill. So again, we're still 32 feet up. So I'm going to go a couple up here because we got wind in our face. Oh, now I hit it closed and went the other way. Alright, so now, again, a bit of a move there. Just don't want to hit it too far. I still did. Awful. So there are some different swings types I can try. Problem is, that's exactly where I'm at. I'm trying them because I just unlocked them recently. So I haven't used them. Oh, I think I was too fast. I think I did hit the hole and jumped it. Because you could see the trajectory did change. And this is where this kind of appears different. So I moved a bit too much. Okay. So I have also adjusted the green grid. I now have put attribute points and maxed it out. So it is as small as it can get. And it is about twice as small as it was to begin with. So it is definitely helpful. Because what you'll see at times, and I don't know, I mean, there are courses, obviously, I've played that are here. It's just whether we'll hit them or not. Sometimes the beads don't move at all because it's so small. You know, the challenge this makes is now I think I can't use these to be a yard because they're not anymore, and I don't know if they're truly half a yard. So sometimes when I'm playing with wind, Alright, we're just gonna, whoops, lower this a bit, you know, but sometimes when I'm playing with wind, it's just more a gut feel thing. And that is certainly challenging me to be accurate. Alright, well, we're on the green. So we got on in regulation. Got a little bit of a downhill, so we don't want to go quite full power. But we got a long way to get there. I kind of did go the full power. But we barely got there. Coming back, but not too far. A lot of times I'll speed it up, but sometimes it's fun to watch those long ones if you think you got a shot. So you can see, like, they're moving, but it does help get the read a little bit better. So I do think it has helped improve my putting because I'm just getting a better read on what the green is really doing. But the plan right now is, as we're, you know, kind of working, 29 feet, that's going to be almost 10 yards back. But that means I should get on the green, so... But you can see here, like, see the beads aren't moving at all, because obviously we're on a tee and it's flat, and all of that. Alright, better. Contact was perfect. Swing path was off. I hate those because, yeah, these are rough when they're that high. Alright, at least we could hop it out. Not bad. Okay, very little movement, also not much distance. So hopefully... awful. And this is like a new stance when you're really close. You can't actually move left or right when you have that view. It's just like, yeah, just put it in the hole is what it's telling you at that point. Alright, so I'm not sure that the additional distance is really helping me much yet. I mean, we're obviously getting further down, but it's not like the closer approach shots that I'm suddenly landing them by the hole all over the place. Alright, better. Ooh, shorter than I thought. I was like, I'm on target, which I was. This is going to move a lot, I think. Wow, more than I thought. Which is typical. I'm usually still more conservative than I should be. Pretty much straight on. So we're going to... Oh, you... Oh, thought it was going to lip out on me again. Alright, we are 9 over, so we are definitely skirting this. Now, you know, and again, this is the first... I haven't played a lot of Master. Let's be upfront with that, too. Oh, boy. 14 degrees. That is awful. I felt good about it a little bit. Like, oh, yeah, I'll be fine. Okay. Let's see, what's between me and... Oh, boy. I don't know that... I don't know. Just worried I'm going to be in the bunker again, which I'm pretty sure I will be. Well, I ended up in between them, but the distance was exactly that. Alright, 71. Get up here, 77, 81. Alright, we're going to go all out here. Okay. Thought I was going to roll back because I saw the uphill. Alright, little bit of movement. Let's see if we can put a 16-footer in here. You can see I went back a bit. Still too far. Alright. Come on. That was already a bogey. I thought that was my par shot. Darn it. Alright, double bogey on that. So now we're over our random goal. Alright, I'm going to leave this at a 3-wood because otherwise we're going to be dancing with the river. Pulling it. Oh, come on. Really? Alright. So I've got a choked approach. I've got this power pick. And that's what I can do. Because otherwise, getting out of here can be a bit of a challenge. Let's try this. So, comes out pretty solidly. I think I really went way too far. Not nearly as close as I thought, but gives me a shot. Go over a bit more. Come on. Trying to hit it. But you want to stay smooth on the rhythm. Oh, if I hadn't moved that last little bit, it would have gone in. I did not have a great pullback. I was off by 10 degrees, as you saw. So that certainly didn't help either. Alright, so these are always challenging. Nope, we're going to be short. Oh, odd bounce, that's for sure. Alright. Oh, no. Sometimes you can just tell. Okay, up and over. Not bad, not bad. Man, very close, but we're going for a bogey already. So you can see the challenges. We're not going to have enough power. It was downhill a bit, so I was being a bit careful, but too much, too soft on that. So yeah, I do not know what the qualifying is going to be. I mean, the elite folks are the elite folks. I mean, I don't think... I mean, I'm not playing a game of thinking that there's any chance. And they are still... I guess if I had to make a mistake, that was the way to make it. But again, I'd rather not make it. That would be better. Ugh. What was that? I mean, I'm on. I ended up getting a better outcome, but wow, that was just a gift. I think I got it. All right. First, you know, non-simple putt that has gone in. So 13 holes. But you know, the elite players, like, you can still see the scoreboard and people are at negative whatever. I mean, they're definitely getting it. It's just a question of us mere mortals, where are we going to end up here? Yeah, I think that works with the elevation change and everything. Too much of an arc still. My goodness. I cannot dial this in. And that is the difference between pro and master, which I'm sure is partly why they're like, yeah, we're going to go ahead and we're likely going to be on master difficulty. So I get it. I definitely, I think pro would have been nicer. I would have felt like I have a shot at moving around the flights and stuff. Where right now I think I'm literally back where I was, where I'm just barely going to be hanging on to a tour card for likely the foreseeable future. I have had 4 perfects on a master difficulty swing. It has happened 3-4 times. So I can execute appropriately. It just is a lot more challenging. So, shoot. I was hoping it would be a little shorter than that, but that's okay. Alright, so now I gotta be careful here. Let's see what happens again. Yeah, see, I'm getting a normal chip now, so I've got to be careful. I wasn't getting any lift, and I did apply attribute points, and I think I've still got other things I can improve on it. But I'm like, you know, I'm chipping all the time. I probably should apply some of these points to this. But it's good because the chips felt weird. I mean, you can go back and look at the other rounds. I mean, literally almost any episode I have before this will show you. These are the ones that I struggle with because I always feel like I'm not moving enough. Come on. Ooh. And I'm not, and there's enough movement, obviously, that there's some forgiveness when you're that close because the ball moves substantially in a short distance. But if you go watch the chip shots on any other episode, you'll see they kind of went up like literally a foot above the ground, and then it was just a lot of dribbling. So the problem is, like, even though it said 13 yards, like, if you were in thicker grass, because it never really elevated, even if you did a full swing, you'd get like 3 yards out of it. So it was terrible, and I don't know what to do to fix this. I guess what I needed to do was apply more the skill points to it. See, and that felt odd, but it was one of my better shots. So that's the thing. It's getting used to what's going on. You know, the challenge is getting points and whatever. There's just more pro actions available, if that makes sense. This seems like it'll be too long. All right, nice shot. No? Oh my goodness, it hit the hole in the pin. That's always nice. So we're going to get an eagle here. That's helpful. So first eagle, although it's not an official TGC Tours event, it's still a test event. But hey. So, and the argument I'm sure the TGC folks would give is exactly this. Like, you know, yeah, it's hard, but it's not like you're incapable of playing well. It's just going to require you to play well. Boy. Not what I thought was going to happen. I mean, that's always the case, right? If you thought you were doing a terrible shot and then you did it anyway, I guess who's the fool, right? But, yeah. All right, we still got a shot here. Downhill, so it'll move more because we'll be going slower. And it still moved too much. Speed was okay. It might have made it to the hole, but so another bogey. Give half of our eagle right back. All right, so we are final hole. I thought maybe we were on 17, but we're on 18. Okay. 71 feet down to the hole. Way, way down. That'll work out, but again, not the best ever. I think I've hit one 700 or 400 yard drive. I don't know why I was saying 700, but all right, the lie. This one always gets me a bit. It's over near, well, I went the other way. It's over near the river. It's a little close. All right, so gotta be gentle here. Nice. So yeah, that particular shot I'm pretty comfortable with. Ah. Oh, thank God. It moved right at the end. I'm like, it is going to go by the hole. But it moved right at the end. So here's how we see the results. Similar to that, but then, you know, we'll get our progression screen. Looks a lot more complex. Oh, almost 2 levels. All right. Yeah, we're doing pretty good. So, yeah, I thought it was in the 70s. So, yeah, we're only going to get 15 or 16 attribute points yet. So if you think about that, you know, we've got, I think, 6 different... Oh, yeah, I need that sparkly belt or whatever it is. I guess it's not sparkly. I'm sure it's just braided material, but, you know, but we made a good portion of the next item there, and, you know, the challenge will be... I don't have any more power right now, so I could do things with swing path or whatever, and that may make more sense on the approaches, is to kind of give myself more of a control as I'm getting close to the hole, and focus less on distance, and just you know, get the distance off the tee. But you can see the rounds show up here. It's a little different if you're used to 2K23. I don't know that I felt bad about anything about the interface at any point. It took a little bit of getting used to, but it's just different. And like I said, like if we do have a cut in round 2 here, which would be disastrous because we're not going to make it, but TGC usually doesn't do a cut here. They'll do it on the website, so I think we'll be okay. But let's just chat a little bit in general, because, like I said, I don't want to make the assumption that everyone who is here and watching this, given that it's a new playlist and so forth, has seen the other PGA 2K25 things I did and heard some of my overall feel. But think of this as maybe a well-seasoned review of where I sit, because at this point I'm really close to, I think, like 50 hours in the game, aside from whatever I put into the first look, which was like another 10 or 20 hours there. I can see both sides of the argument, where very early on people were grumbling that, oh, this game is too easy, they've made it far too easy. And where I think that stems from is the fact that what you're not gonna see is these very fast, very slow results that I would get in 2K23 that would just kind of end up in these flubbed shots. What you'll tend to see is a big hook, a big slice. If I make a mistake in directionality, but they've gotten rid of the part with the rhythm that just really screwed you over. And to me, I think that's more realistic and it's more indicative of reality. Because even when, you know, I'm a terrible... I mean, I couldn't even imagine. I mean, I have not played golf on a real golf course in, I think, 20 years at this point. So if I went out there, I can't even imagine what it would be like. You know, I never played to the point where I would even say I was consistent. If I got out twice a year... that was probably as active as I ever was. And sure, I'd go to the driving range, you know, the week before I was planning to meet up with someone to play, just to dial it in as much as I could dial it in. But even when I hit a really bad shot with an iron on the fairway, for example, and didn't even get it in the air, the ball would still roll, you know, 100 yards. It's just the nature of what it is. You're still imparting a large amount of force. You're just not getting the best result you can. And similarly, even if I didn't get a clean shot with the driver and it just dribbled, it could roll a good distance. I mean, yes, if it was just a long grass and a pond right in front of me, yeah, I'd probably roll right into the pond, or just tiny arc into the pond 20 yards away, or whatever it was. But even as bad a golfer as I was, I could get down the course. I mean, I would keep score. I would keep score. And yes, I would double the par of a course. I mean, I'd end up finishing at like 140, 150. But to me, over a course, like, it wasn't that awful. And again, it wasn't because I was taking 10 shots to get to the green. It was because I wasn't, you know, it was still hard to putt from far away. I'd hit it too far, I'd 3 or 4 putt on the green all the time. And so, a par 3 became a 7, a par 5 became a 9. You add that up over 18 holes, it's not that hard to get up to that level. It was one of those, like, I wasn't hitting the shot limit per, PGA Tour 2K rules that, I'm at 10, 11 strokes. It was rare that I was getting that on a hole. I was still, 7, 8, 9, and that was kind of the normal thing. And that was as a horrid golfer. So what was happening in 2K23 just felt so contrived from what I knew as the reality. And to me, this is better, where in most cases you're going to get an okay swing. And I would argue that if I'm out there playing as often as I did here in real life, even though I'm going to be all over the place and still ending up 13 over or worse, like, I could get in that range, because I think I did shoot below 100 a couple times, which is still, I get like 20 or 30 over. If I've played 10 rounds of golf in my life, I think that would be my total. So that's what I am as a real life golfer. I kind of got, I got given some clubs to begin with. I ended up, I think, buying a cheap set at some point, and if it was that old, hey, business is done on the golf course thing. And I was just thinking it'd become more of a thing for me than it did. It honestly just became like, hey, that wasn't necessary in the fields I was in. It wasn't really helping me. I didn't enjoy the cost. It was just far, far too expensive. Spending $40-50 to go out for 3-4 hours. It just, I could never get it to work in my head. And so I never got the bug of, hey, I want to spend hundreds of dollars a week on this hobby. So that's why it never became much for me. But that, I think, is what drives the complaint of it's easy, is that for those of us who aren't exceptionally good at this game, it's still okay to be reasonably good at this game pretty easily in this version versus 2K23, where it's hard for me. I think even in the beginning, I don't think I've shot a 30 over in this game. So, which I absolutely have done in 2K23, even a bit into things. So there's clearly a difficulty of making an argument that on that level, the game is quote-unquote easier. But I go back and contend and push back with, if it's easier for me, it's therefore easier for you, the elite player, and therefore you will still outpace me regardless of the general difficulty of the entire interface and interacting with it. So while I may consistently always shoot better than 20 over per round, they're going to consistently shoot, 10 or 20 under par or something, where they might have shot 5 to 10 under par consistently. One can argue, is that less fun? Maybe. I don't know. But to me, it brings an enjoyment to the game where I dreaded sometimes the play sessions in 2K23 because I just felt I wasn't up to what the game demanded of me. Even just 50 hours in, I don't feel that way in 2K25, and honestly never have. So that, I think, is a testament to how well they've created the mechanic, that it's logical in my head. I mean, I'm moving the club, I'm doing it, the club reacts to it, and again, my power, instead of being a very fast or a very slow, which yes, has something to do with rhythm, it's a decrease in power, but it is now no longer decreasing my accuracy, which is, as I've said in the other videos, where I am repeating myself a little bit here, it's a more accurate reflection of what happens. If I have a slow swing, a very slow swing, I can still make solid contact with the ball and be accurate. It's just not going to go as far. And consequently, if I have a very fast swing, I can still make solid contact with the ball, and it may go a little further because I had a little bit more speed in my club head. That's the physics of golf. I mean, if you listen to golf videos, you know, the accuracy is the angle I hit at. So again, if I've got that sweep in my swing that you sometimes see as the little line, the doodle gets drawn, yeah, that's my club not moving straight. That should affect my accuracy, and it does. That's what creates the open, the close, the push and the pull on the swings. So I think they've done a masterful job with that. And if it invariably had the effect of making it quote-unquote easier, so be it. I think it makes the game more approachable and realistic. But yeah, I look forward to it. I mean, I have gotten to the point I've talked about in the last couple episodes. I mean, I've just played so much of this that it is almost like, you know, oversatiation, oversaturation of it, where after I've played 5, 6, 7, 8 rounds in a day, I'm like, all right, I need to stop. This is no longer fun. But it's not because of the challenge or the difficulty. It's just because I've swung the club enough times. That's where things sit. That's where we're at. As long as they keep giving us stuff here, but even if they don't, I am going to keep the TGC things separate. And my intent is, unless they suddenly throw something crazy at us with volume, but I don't imagine they would, because some of the events were initially like just 2 days long. And you had to do things quickly, but they were only 2 rounds, so it still would have worked, but it would have been like 7 rounds in a week instead of the typical 4. You know, because again, the 8th here, I think, is Saturday, if I'm thinking correctly, because yeah, the 1st was a Saturday, so the 8th would be Saturday. And I think it ends at like 6 p.m. Eastern time or something, so it would really be, I don't know, it'll be what it'll be, but basically I was on today, calendar-wise, which is March 4th. Like, I could have started this event at 6 p.m. last night. So at 6 p.m. tonight, it becomes March 5th in the game, even though, you know, it's a little bit early. But that's the situation. We'll see how this goes, and they'll just show up, and I'll just keep bumping out anything else I'm doing in the career mode, which right now isn't much because I'm keeping busy with other things, trying to get up to speed and just maximize my experience and get that character to level 100. I mean, that's really my goal right now, is just drive myself there. I'm close. I would think during this week I'll get there, but I don't know if it might take a little bit longer. With that, I'm going to wrap this up. As always, if you've enjoyed this, haven't dropped a like, or are not a subscriber, please consider those things. Greatly, greatly appreciated, and love to continue to grow the channel. We're definitely slowing down a bit. We're not slower than we've been before, but we're back approaching that, 30 subscribers in a month thing that I've had for a long, long time, where for a while I had gone up well above that. I would love to see that again. That requires us to get noticed. So I will see you next time.